Okay. Happy Thursday, everyone. I am back. A couple of housekeeping things that I will start with. Number one, Facebook is being weird. It will not let me download the video from Tuesday. I'm going to keep trying. So for those of you who are on Mighty Network, I will try to make sure I get that video up. It's a very long story. I'm sure it has something to do with my technology stuff, but we'll try to get that video up. Number two, I have been talking to you about the shift, and I have been also letting you know that I will be offering 2 scholarships, partial scholarships, 50% scholarships for people in this round. If you missed the video where I let you know about what I'm doing with that and why, I'll just quickly recap. Last year, I had a couple of people. Well, it was inspired by one of my first students who was really, really struggling financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of it. And I could just tell that she was very committed to the process, but financially was completely unable to make the commitment. So we worked out something that felt good energetically. And here's the thing, there's a lot of good research that talks about when you have financial commitment to something, you are significantly more likely to finish your commitment. So that's why I don't give full scholarships. It's truly for your sake. Now, that might sound weird, but if you look into the research about that, you have to have financial skin in the game. It truly makes a difference in whether free products never have anywhere near the completion rate that products that you pay for have. So that's why it's a partial scholarship. 50% scholarship, the shift again is $997, so it makes this just under $500. Going back to the story, she was unable to make any of the live calls, actually did not participate at all really in the group, but did everything. Watched all of the coaching calls, watched all of the modules, read all of the things in the group. She was just sort of doing it from a distance because that's more her personality, which is completely fine. And she had and continues to have one of the biggest transformations of the shift participants. And it really inspired me to want to always provide at least partial scholarship opportunities and hopefully more and more and more as we grow going forward. So there will be 2 offered this session. And I will put my email in here it's super easy, everybody. I'm going to make it super easy. I'm not the big tech savvy person. So just email me your name and a little bit about your need for a scholarship this round. It doesn't have to be a huge essay. It doesn't have to be your lifelong story. I want to get to know your energy and you as a person. You guys who've been following me for quite some time know that I am very sensitive to energy. So I will get a sense of who you are just by you writing me a little bit. And I will make sure that 2 of you get a partial scholarship to the shift for this round. I'm saving 2 spots open just for that. So all you have to do is email me. That's all you have to do. Write me your name, and hopefully in the body of the email or in the subject of the email, you can just put scholarship so that I can quickly go through those. So in the subject of the email, just put scholarship or shift scholarship or something like that. And I'll go through and read them, and I will respond to all of you. I'll go through and read them and make sure that 2 of you get a scholarship for this round. Okay, so that's the scholarship piece. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve day. I am technically still on vacation, but here I am because I want to support you all. Next week, I will also be out Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are back to regularly scheduled programming. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, so 5th, 6th, and 7th, is our final 3 days of the Healthy for the Holiday series. So I will also be doing some videos for the shift coming up next week. So you can look for the events in here and in Mighty Network on the Mighty Network page as well. So you can join in, ask questions, send me questions. Also, if you are on the wait list, remember, as I said, The wait list is going to find out first when the doors open. The doors open on Saturday. What's today? Thursday. The doors open on Saturday. People can start signing up on Saturday. If you're on the wait list, you will be notified first before anybody else to allow you to get into the doors first. If you're not on the wait list yet, make sure you click on the link in the comments, get on the wait list so you can get notified. If you're on the wait list, you will also see links to be able to sign up for a phone call with me. If you just want to talk through it, they're short phone calls and we can, quickly get to your questions about the shift if you want to talk through it. Also, all of you will be invited to a webinar I'm doing next Thursday that's more in-depth, scientifically in-depth on why can't I do better even when I know better, and just the science behind why we never meet our goals and how to do it differently, which will lead into telling you about the shift. So all of those things are coming up. We got a lot more to do. And then finally, last housekeeping piece before I go into today's content is that I will be continuing these videos. I'm going to go once a week instead of every day, just because that's a whole lot of working content for me. But I love supporting you all, and I will be going live. I think it will be Mondays, but don't quote me on that. I'm going to put it in my calendar as soon as I do my work planning for next year. I'll put it in my calendar. I will go live every week, same time, and I'll put the events in there just like I did for this. And I would really love for you all to join me. And we will be talking about anything you want. So once a week, 52 weeks for next year. I may go on vacation a couple of times. But 52 weeks next year, we will do different topics. I want you to send me questions. I'm happy to support you all in however you need on your journey. Okay, man, that was a lot of housekeeping today. Sorry about that. Okay, let me just make sure everything is good here. Yep, we're live there. Perfect. All right, so this time of year, so many people are doing goal setting and vision boarding and things like that. And my webinar next Thursday, in fact, there's going to be a lot of links for you in here. So in the comments in this video, you'll have my email. You'll have the shift wait list sign up if you want to sign up for that. You will also have this webinar registration sign up link, because in my webinar next Thursday, I'm going to teach you the science behind why we don't do better even when we know better. So all of the people who set New Year's resolutions and goals and things and then drop off within a few weeks, there's actually really good reason for this. And I'm going to talk about that, teach you all the science behind that, and then give you a new way of doing it. A little side note, little plug for the shift. If you actually do the shift with me, I'm going to go further with that and take you through a whole behavior design process, behavior design to tiny habits process that I use and that my clients will use for setting their goals for next year, and how to do it differently, how to work with the brain to do that in a different way. So that's a fun bonus for signing up. But next Thursday, if you want to join that webinar, I'll put the link in the comments, and I will be teaching you why we don't do better even when we know better, why we don't meet our goals, why everybody's New Year's resolutions go to die, and we never end up meeting those things. I'm going to teach you about that next week. So get signed up for that if you want. It's completely free. But on that same note, if you are doing reflection and if you are doing goal setting for next year, one of the most important things that I want you to do is to make sure that you make time for reflecting on 2021. People skip that. They go straight to what's wrong and what do I want to be better in 2022. Okay, so they take a snapshot of where they are right now and they go forward. And not that that is bad to go forward, but your brain is designed for hypervigilance, for paranoia, and is geared towards a negativity bias. That's just the way our brains were designed. There's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with that. But what it takes is an intentional focus and an intentional shift towards looking for the positives, because our brain is designed to always be able to pick up on the negatives very quickly, which means often what rises to the surface for us are the things that are wrong, that are not going well, until we teach the brain to do it differently, okay? So the reason why this is so important is that if you are looking, if you are thinking about what you want to accomplish for, call it 2022, and you have not done some intentional reflection on 2021, what you can accidentally do is pile up the negativity. What is the word I'm trying to say? You can have an imbalance in the sort of negativity, or the things that didn't go well, or I'm not as far along, or I didn't do as much as I wanted to do, or whatever, because our brain is geared towards negativity bias. So we can easily call up the things that aren't going well. And it takes practice to call up and remember the things that are going well. And so if you're not taking the time to intentionally stop and focus on perhaps the good changes or the lessons you've learned or the things that are going well, it's so much easier to recall the negativity. So one of the things that I do every year, and I've already started this process, and again, you'll see it in the comments, I'll have some journal reflection questions for you if you don't regularly recall some of your own, is I just reflect. I reflect on the year. I reflect on, first, I always start with things that went well. What did I accomplish this year? Big and small, right? And to really think about it. How many things went well? Even if it's a tiny thing that's different, right? Like I don't know, I'm making things up. I yelled at my husband less, or I was able to go out for a walk more, or something like that. It doesn't have to be these big things like I finally lost 30 pounds. I mean, that's great. If you did that, write it down. But big and small, what are the things that you accomplished this year? Everybody accomplished something this year. So write it down, look for it, pay attention to it. Even if you think it's small, write it down. You'll start to see that list grow. I reflect on my lessons from the year, things that are perhaps what could be considered mistakes, or things I wish hadn't happened. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Things that I wish hadn't happened, or perhaps lessons that I, learned. And the reason why I say lessons learned is anything that I write down that was perhaps negative or could be perceived as negative, I write that down, and then subsequently I write, what is the lesson learned? What did I gain from this experience? This is part of the practice of taking radical responsibility for your life, in that every single thing that was difficult has a lesson, has a teaching, has something that we can learn from it. So I take time to reflect on, I didn't like that so much, and here was my opportunity. Here was the lesson. Here's something that I learned from it, right? So I first list my accomplishments, then I list my lessons, list what I learned from them. And I reflect on areas of growth, right? Where have I expanded? Where have I learned, expanded, grown? For me, this year was a deep dive into spirituality. There was a deep dive into some plant medicine. My relationship with the universe and energy expanded in a pretty significant way this year. So just from a 30,000 foot view, where did I grow or expand this year, right? What relationships shifted, changed, went well? Where in my business did I grow, expand, shift, and change? So all I'm doing is taking a record, or a inventory. That's the word I'm looking for. An inventory of different areas of my life, and anything that felt like it shifted, changed, or expanded. Now, it doesn't have to be hard or tedious, but your brain might fight you to begin with and go, I don't know what to say, or I don't have anything to write down, because it's not used to reflecting on the past. It's not used to picking out lessons and good things and things like that. It knows how to, here's what I don't like about where I am right now, and here's what I want to do differently going forward, right? So it might not be used to putting it together in an observer standpoint, right? Of let me look in on myself and see what I did or said, or how I changed or grew or learned, right? It's used to saying, I am this, I am not that, I'm missing this, I am. So to move outside of that enmesh role and into the observer role might feel a little strange at first, and you might find some resistance to doing this. So there's no right or wrong way. You're not doing it wrong if nothing comes up for you. And the journal prompts that I'll put here for you are truly just, they're just a prompt. It's just an idea. It's just a, to get you thinking, right? So you don't have to fill all of them out. You don't have to feel like you're missing something if you don't do them. And if you have your own questions that you want to reflect on, that works too. So today is all about taking time for reflection, today and tomorrow. And then next week, I will go into some of the basics about what we can do from there. And like I said, if you're in the shift, you'll go through some pretty significant training on how exactly to do this in some of our bonus calls that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, how to plan for the new year. So today, take time for reflection. Same thing tomorrow, remembering that your nervous system right now, bringing together what I talked about on Tuesday, your nervous system could feel dysregulated right now at this part of the year. As we close a year out and start a new one, there are messages being sent to your nervous system that something's shifting, something's changing, something's ending, something's beginning, and that can make your nervous system feel somewhat dysregulated. If you have a habit of moving towards food to deal with dysregulation, just make sure that you become the observer of, I'm feeling a little off right now, or things feel a little sticky right now, or my body's in anticipation of something right now. You're just observing what's going on. And the more you practice becoming the observer, the less you are caught up in the actions and behaviors that you would normally engage in to try and deal with it, right? So the more you step outside yourself and say, things are feeling a little dysregulated in my system right now, the less likely you are to unconsciously reach for food in order to try and deal with that. So making time for reflection, also becoming aware that it's very normal for your system to get dysregulated this time of year. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of seasonality and seasonal affective stuff tomorrow. But this time, this week and next week, and as we start a new year, this time is a time period where I always encourage people to be kind and gentle and aware of how often you're critical of yourself and why can't I do this? And why do I feel bad? And why am I eating this way? And why? Because it is really natural for us to feel some dips and highs and lows in the weeks following holidays. So just really want to acknowledge you for that. Okay, kind of a long video today. I'm really hoping that this will allow me to download, like it has every single other video I've done, 44 of them this go round, and it doesn't stop me like it did on Tuesday. Fingers crossed for me. I will see you all here tomorrow.